我先做一个简单的自我介绍。我叫沙小丽，是来自时尚芭莎中国版的主编。时尚芭莎中国版是2001年在中国创刊。在这个10几年中，一直在中国的女性中有非常高的地位。那么这几年，我致力于将时尚打破圈层，在电影和电视剧，还有在互联网，还有在游戏等等各行各业中，这里我们把美与他们这些行业中连接在一起，特别是在电影和电视的宣传和推广方面，我们在中国是与他们做的非常紧密的合作。这10几年以来，一直我们在推广中国好的自己的电影和电视，用我们自己时尚芭莎时尚的语言来为他们在这个市场中做更多的话语。那么接下来Amanda 非常高兴能够有这个机会跟你采访，希望我们下次能够见面。那么我想知道一下，在这个您是怎么认为时尚在电影电视产业中它扮演的这个角色是一个什么样的角色呢？
I think, hello, it's so lovely to see you. Let's start there, and I hope that we get to meet in person soon. I was in China last year, and I can't wait till I can get on a plane and visit again. But fashion and film, I mean, fashion plays a huge role in film. It helps tell the story about each character. It can lead to what is, known and remembered about those stories over time. And I think that has always been the case. It's not just today. If you look back at films throughout history, think about Charlie Chaplin and his iconic baggy suit in The Gold Rush, through to Marilyn Monroe's iconic white dress in The 7-Year Itch, or Audrey Hepburn's looks, my personal favourites, in Breakfast at Tiffany's, or right through to Uma Thurman's yellow suit in Kill Bill. Fashion also reflects the fashions of the time through film and can be seen as a documentation, a really accurate documentation of fashion through the years. And I think if you look back at some films, you can also see a real collaboration between fashion and film. Just one example that I always remember is when the fashion designer Tom Ford directed a film called Nocturnal Animals. And he worked with Arianne Phillips, and the striking designs that were created for actress Amy Adams in that film. When I came out, when everybody was saying, what did you think of the film? All I could remember to begin with was that amazing green dress that Amy Adams wore. And we also have the relationships that are formed with fashion designers. If you're going way back to Audrey Hepburn again, a personal favorite, you can tell, and Givenchy, to Jennifer Lopez and that very famous Versace green dress that she first wore in 2000 and then again in 2019, or a dress that was so famous it had its own social media account, was Angelina Jolie's slit black Versace dress again from 2012.
谢谢，是这样子的。那么在中国的电影中呢，实际上也有一些时尚的元素，从很早的电影开始就结下了这个很深厚的情缘。那么我觉得电影和时尚它就像一个镜子一样，互相的映照着。那么有没有我相信你可能看过很多中国的电影，有没有你最喜欢的一部中国电影呢？
Well, I couldn't agree more with you about the role of costume and film and fashion, and we see that extensively in Chinese film. I think just digging down into that a little bit, what a character wears plays a huge role in how we perceive them and how we understand that character as the story is being told. Costume design is one of the categories at BAFTA's annual Film Awards, and it's a really important category. And over and above the Film Awards, as we do, right throughout the year, we support up-and-coming talent, and we particularly support up-and-coming costume designers. We've also actually held costume designer events in Asia, not for a few years now, but we're going to do it again, I promise you. In 2016, BAFTA winning costume designer Lindy Hemming, who has worked on a lot of the James Bond films, came out to China and did a number of events for us, both talking about her crafts, but also learning from Chinese costume designers as well. And it's really hard to know where to start in China, because there are some brilliantly talented costume designers. If I just pick a couple of people who have been nominated for BAFTAs over the years, we have Amy Wada, who was nominated for Best Costume Design for her work on House of Flying Daggers, and Lai Pan, who was nominated for Lust Caution. And I have to say, and this shows you what a fan I am, I actually have a copy of the original costume design drawings from House of Flying Daggers on my office wall. And the reason I have that is that one of the things we do in the awards is we showcase the original drawings, and then we show the imagery on screen so people can see the incredible talent and skills and time that has gone into creating those characters' costumes on screen.
哇，太美了！是的，我最喜欢的一个中国的电影里面的衣服，给我留下的印象最深的是《花样年华》。它里面的旗袍真的是非常的美丽，完美极了。那是我最爱的一个电影。是的，是的，我看过好几遍，就是因为里面的旗袍太吸引我了。刚才听您介绍，就是您这边计划要推出一个新的一个叫展翼计划，是这样吗？那么要选出电影、电视还有游戏一些创意领域的这些新秀，通过指导和培养呢，把他们带到这个国际的舞台上。现在您面向中国这个市场，也有这样的计划吧？可以跟大家分享一下你做这个计划的初心是什么吗？
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about it, because a lot of people know BAFTA for the awards ceremonies that we do, both in the UK and in America. And what those awards ceremonies allow us to do is not only celebrate incredibly talented people and their work every year, it also allows us to get to know those people and to ask them to give back and to support the next generation of talent. And BAFTA Breakthrough was, well, actually going right back. It in its first sort of gestation was in 2011. I did an event with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in Los Angeles, where we showcase amazing young British talent to the American industry. That was a one-off event, but I always thought there was an idea there that we needed to do more with. And in 2013, we launched an initiative called Breakthrough Brits in the UK only. It has always been my ambition to take that initiative globally. So just to give you a little bit more information about it, it showcases and supports the next generation of creative talent in film, games, and television. And it is the only initiative of its kind globally, because we are the only academy who looks after all three genres, film, television, and games. And we want to find great talent. I have a saying which I drive everybody crazy with, which is talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. And I want to make sure that opportunity is there. Last year, we went international with Breakthrough for the first time in China, and, which we thought was, the absolutely perfect first step for taking Breakthrough globally. you know, the industry we work in across film, television and games is increasingly global, and it only felt natural for BAFTA to expand alongside this and start to help creative communities to connect across the world. And I don't need to tell you that China has the fastest growing film industry in the world. And we want to meet your emerging talent, to support them, to learn from them, to help them thrive, not only in China, but also globally. So last year, I was immensely lucky to come to Shanghai last June. And I travelled with our breakthrough ambassador, the wonderful actor Tom Hiddleston, and we launched Breakthrough China at the Shanghai International Film Festival. And you know, we launched it. The competition, we started small because we wanted to make sure that we could properly understand how to support people and, you know, what people needed and who the mentors were they needed, both in the UK and China. But we chose 5 exceptionally talented individuals who we are continuing to support. We also have, in addition to Breakthrough, in recent years, we've supported 11 Chinese scholars studying in the UK. Our work with Breakthrough China is ongoing. We are hoping to open for applications in early 2021, and we are currently in advanced talks with a Chinese partner to partner with us in China to help deliver our ambitions for Breakthrough China. So it's an incredibly exciting time for us. The other thing we have done with Breakthrough is we have launched Breakthrough in America, and we will be launching Breakthrough in India, because we want to create this global network of new talent who can work with each other, learn from each other, you know, and I genuinely believe some amazing projects will come out of this, and we'll look back and we'll see how those relationships and those mentoring schemes and everything has worked, and we will all benefit from the great work that they do.
哦，太棒了！这个计划真的太棒了，我非常喜欢。我也很希望我们时尚芭莎可以在这个计划中能够与你一起来共同发掘和培养这些人才，我觉得特别棒，特别棒。那么今年的这个疫情，我想对这个计划会有什么样的影响吗？
So, I mean, this year has affected everybody. You know, obviously it has been incredibly challenging. We're still planning to go ahead to launch, to open for applications. I expect in the early part of the activity that we're doing, we will do that activity online. We've had to do a lot of that at BAFTA. I'm actually very proud to say that in the last 6-7 months, we've actually delivered more activity than we normally do. We've just literally taken everything we do online. And, you know, we were absolutely determined that one of our roles should be keeping the practitioners working in film, games and television connected and creatively inspired, ensuring that we were keeping sort of vital networks alive during this time, doing networking opportunities, and we did all of this online. So we've delivered well over 100 events online. We've delivered, I think, at least 4 award ceremonies online, and we actually did do one live TV awards ceremony with social distancing in a studio in July that was broadcast on BBC One here. But we're determined to keep going. We're actually seeing the positives of being able to see things online. I don't think anything will ever, replace being in a room, but we've also learned what we can do better and how we can reach so many more people by doing things online. Look at the 2 of us meeting. This wouldn't have happened unless one of us had got on a plane. This is fantastic that this is happening. And I'd also like to just jump back and thank you for your offer of support as we launch our activity in China. and I will definitely follow up on that. And I also just wanted to go back because you talked about one of my favorite films earlier, In the Mood for Love, which I, absolutely adore. And, I every time I have a conversation about Chinese film, there are so many films that I want to watch again, but I also need to catch up because I think I'm a little bit behind. I mean, I was in Shanghai in 2015 with the Duke of Cambridge. The Duke of Cambridge is the president of BAFTA, and we did an event at the Shanghai Film Museum where I was honored to meet the director, Shang Yimou, which I've probably pronounced completely wrongly, but hopefully when it's translated, it will be right. He has won the BAFTA twice, going way back to 1993 for Raise the Red Lantern, and also for a film called To Live in 1995. He was also nominated for House of Flying Daggers. And what we did was presented a replica BAFTA of the film he first won for, Raise the Red Lantern. So that is actually in the Shanghai Film Museum. So if anybody is watching this and wants to go and have a look and see what this BAFTA is, it is in the film museum there.
是的，是的，是这样的。现在看，其实很多以前很经典的电影，它之所以能够成为经典，能够经受住这个时间的考验，就是因为它的内容和它的画面，所有的细节都做得非常的完美，而且反映当时社会和现在社会我们想要告诉大家的一些东西。那么对这些。那么现在在中国有很多的年轻人都开始自己做这个创意上的创业，您对这些年轻人呢有什么一些忠告吗？如果他们希望能够将来在自己的事业上有很大的发展的话。
Well, I think with so much online now, I think there are so many places that people can go to, find out more information. I know the amount of content that people in China watch is phenomenal. It's far greater than it is in the UK. So the interest is definitely there. I would say go online, watch as many events as you possibly can. We at BAFTA put all our activity online. But we aren't alone. Look at what all the film festival sites are doing. If there's a particular writer or director or actor whose work you like, really study that work and understand what is it about it that inspires you. Look for the competitions, the mentorship schemes that are out there. I think part of the issue today is there's probably almost too much out there, and it's people finding their way through it. I promise you, when we start doing our activity early next year, that will be available to everybody, and we will make sure that is the case. And as I say, what we always do is look at where can we add value. What are people particularly interested in? The wonderful thing about China and Britain is we're both great storytellers. So I think immediately, we understand each other and, what we're trying to do across film, television and games. And I think, it's often said in our industries that it's who you know and not what you know. And that is something at BAFTA that I have been so determined to change. I got into this industry. I have no background in it whatsoever. And I managed to get a 6-week work placement in London. And I'm from the north of England, so 250 miles north of London. I wrote lots of letters, that's how long ago it was. You're still writing letters. It was way back in 1982. A television company took a chance on me. I was supposed to be in London for 6 weeks and I am still here. I can't work out the maths as to how long ago that is, but it's a long time. And I got my first job. I worked incredibly hard. I recognized it was an industry that I loved. and I've managed to stay in it. I have never left the industry. I think it's also really important to realize that you're not going to, don't think you'll start where you're going to finish. I think so many people are just so eager to get to whatever that point is. They think that's what success looks like. And I would say that every job I have done has taught me something for the next job. And no matter how silly that job may seem, I mean, just to give you one example, when I was doing my work placement, I was given all the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. And one of those jobs, sorry, I need to blow my nose. I've got a bit of a cold. I apologize. One of those jobs was sending fan mail to the actors. And the way you did that was sent it to their agents. Nobody wanted to do that job. You literally crossed out the address, wrote in another address. I got my next job, which was working for a talent agent, because not only did I know what agents did, I knew who his clients were. And because this was way back in the early 80s, you couldn't Google this information, so people didn't know. So when I went in, he thought I was incredibly knowledgeable about his business, and my only knowledge came from forwarding fan mail. So, you know, please believe that no job is too small or too silly, because you learn something from everything you do, even if it is, I never ever want to do this again, and I'm going to change direction slightly. And, you know, again, just looking at my own career, never be afraid to step back something, you know, in some ways, because, you know, the job is the right job to do. When I first joined BAFTA, you know, I took a massive pay cut to go to BAFTA, but I knew it was the right thing for me to do, because I knew what I could do with the organization, and I was passionate about what it could be. But at the time, I have to say, it was really tough. I think I cut my salary in half, but I was so believed it was the right job for me. And that was 22 years ago. So, and I think my salary's finally caught up, so that's not so bad, but I just knew it was the right thing for me. So, you know, what is it that makes you passionate? You know, learn from your mistakes as well as your successes, and just keep going. I mean, just don't stop.
哇，是这样的，我觉得，有很多杰出的女性都是像你这样子，一直在把一件事情坚持做许多年，做出了成就。那么您作为一位领导英国电影机构和产业的女性的领袖，您对女性领导力这个词，您有什么样的看法吗？
I have to say, and people often smile when I say this, that I feel incredibly lucky to be a female leader. And I suspect it's not the same for every woman in every sector, but I have found that as a woman, I feel 100% able to be true to myself. And that is really important to me. So to explain that, and again, this may sound slightly frivolous, but it's really important to me as an individual. I feel in a board meeting, I can say, I just have an instinct about this. Let me run with this. Let me just see where this goes. I am absolutely convinced that if my male chief operating officer said that it wouldn't actually be very well received, you know, I think you're allowed to talk about feelings and instincts and gut feeling and everything else. As a woman, as I say, I'm sure this isn't the same for every woman in every industry, and I may be very lucky, but I just feel being true to yourself is incredibly important if you're going to be a genuine leader. I'm also very happy to be wrong, which again, I think women often find it easier to admit to being wrong than men do. And I think that probably leads to sort of, you know, why emotional intelligence is so incredibly important. And again, I think women are much more comfortable with that. And, you know, I just think you often are more sensitive to, you know, how people are feeling, whether they're coping with their jobs or whatever, you know, and I've definitely noticed as a leader during the pandemic how people's personalities have become magnified. And if you were naturally cautious, you are even more so. And if you are a glass that's overflowing, everything is possible person like me, we've actually become even more annoyingly positive. And I am aware that it can be annoying, but it's really interesting how you see how people's personalities have changed, or, as I say, grown during these difficult times. But, you know, I think I talk a lot about believing in yourself, being true to yourself, being passionate about what you do. And I quite honestly believe that, you know, I can only do a job that I'm passionate about. And once that passion fades, as it has at certain times during my career, it is definitely time to move on. Because if you're not happy in what you're doing, then how can you lead others successfully? You know, it's really important. And again, I know quite often people are doing jobs that, you know, they have to do rather than they want to do, but hopefully that's part of a journey to something, they find something that they absolutely love.
是的，是的，我觉得我们都是这样子。我也是出于热爱，所以我做这个时尚杂志做了20年，依然对它充满激情，依然非常的热爱。那么，当我每一个月看到我们新的杂志出来的时候，我都像20年前那样，依然心存激动。这个下次我们有机会可以再进一步的来探讨女性与工作之间的这个关系。那么今天呢，非常感谢 Amanda， 谢谢你听说你感冒了，希望你能够快一点痊愈，非常感谢。
That is very kind. Thank you. Can I just say this has been a wonderful interview, so you've made me feel a lot better. Thank you for that.
谢谢 Amanda， 谢谢你的时间，期待我们下次再见。